This is Chennedy Carter's brother, right? So I'm assuming that her and her agent told him to just delete the tweet and don't get involved in it and all of that stuff. They're probably working something out on their end to maybe appeal the suspension, and they don't need him interfering. But this is her actual brother. And so obviously he was emotional, and he probably shouldn't have tweeted this because Chennedy, her agent, her family, they're probably trying to work something out with the league to appeal the suspension because that's going to cost her money, and they just don't need him fanning the flames. So, and like I said, I don't think her brother would ever lie. So this is her actual brother. And he says, tell them how Courtney Williams swung on my sister in the locker room and how Mike, the coach, got mad because she called her agent right after. LOL. Let the people know. Okay, so I just wanted to put this out there. But I told you in my recent video, I said, I don't think it's fair that Chennedy Carter got suspended and Courtney didn't get suspended, right? But this just lets me know that Renee Montgomery is pulling strings. Renee Montgomery just left playing basketball, right? Renee Montgomery played with Courtney Williams, I believe. She played against Courtney Williams also. She's played on the Atlanta Dream Team. She's cool with the veterans. She's going to side with the veterans. And they don't like that Chennedy Carter is not going to fall in line and do what these older players tell her to do, because she sees that these older players aren't honorable. Remember the bully culture that Candace Wiggins spoke about, and I'm going to show you that letter. Okay, these women in the WNBA have been bullying other women for years. Candace Wiggins said players tried to hit on her in terms of like get with her, and she blew them off and they got mad. She spoke about the cliques from front office members to coaches and this bully culture in the WNBA, right? And so remember, I showed you that tweet from Courtney Williams saying that she was brought up different in the league. She was brought up to respect the vets and the coaches, no matter if they're right or wrong. So just shut up and do what you're told. Shut up and dribble and let us do whatever we want to do. And because you're so young, just do what you're told. Okay, and Chennedy isn't having any of that. She's not having any of that. Number one, because she's a strong-willed woman. She's independent and responsible. She's smart and intelligent. And then number two, she knows she's the best, one of the top three best players in this league. She knows she's the best player on that team. And everything went to hell once Nikki left. Everything fell off once Kelly left, because Kelly kept everything together. Like the dude in my comment section said, up until the whole Black Lives Matter thing, you had all these black players eating dinner at Kelly Loeffler's house. You had LaChina Robinson eating dinner at Kelly Loeffler's home, right? So up until and listen, I got to say this about the Black Lives Matter stuff. We all know that the leader of Black Lives Matter, that woman, and then the white man and everyone included, they're making millions of dollars profiting off of that. And so Kelly Loeffler knows what's going on in Black Lives Matter. It is a business, and she didn't want Black Lives Matter on that court because you're putting their brand, their logo. What Black Lives Matter do, I'm talking about the people in charge, they seek out and they find where black people were victims of police brutality and where they were shot or killed by police. And then they say, let's jump on that, right? And so they get on CNN and MSNBC, they get on social media and they blow it up. And then they ask for funds and donations and for legal defenses or organizing donations and all of that stuff. And then they pocket a lot of that money. Okay, and this is why they're millionaires, right? These are black people and white people running Black Lives Matter. So when you put Black Lives Matter on the WNBA court, that's like you put in the Nike swoosh on there. It's like you put in the Adidas logo on there, the Converse logo on there, the Puma logo on there, the Jumpman symbol logo on there. And everyone knows this. And so that's why Kelly Loeffler was so against it. And she also knew that it will rub a lot of people the wrong way, not just white people, but blacks and Hispanics, because unless you've been living in a closet, you should know what's really going on with Black Lives Matter, how they're pocketing a lot of this money. And this isn't something true to their heart, because if it were true to their heart, then Black lives would matter even when black lives aren't victims to white suspects. So when black people are murdering other black people, they should be out there. But they know the media don't care to show that. The media cares to show when white people kill black people, or when black people are victims of police brutality. So, the journalist Christina Williams says a now deleted tweet, new allegations on an alleged physical altercation inside the Atlanta Dream locker room involving Chennedy Carter and Courtney Williams. And he had to delete that tweet because I'm pretty sure they are appealing the suspension, okay, because it's going to cost Kennedy money. Now, let's get into the Candace Wiggins letter. What I want to do is that I want to read you some of the article that Candace Wiggins spoke about in the San Diego Tribune. And the piece was picked up by other media outlets. And you had Breanna Stewart talking about it her second year in the league. And I remember, I think I told you guys that's when Breanna Stewart wasn't gay then. And it was, she wasn't gay then. I remember her like, this was before she got on ESPN and talked about it. She was like, she doesn't think that that's the case. She would hope that that's not the case. She was sort of confused. And then now Breanna Stewart is gay. Remember, at this time, she was dating that black dude. So now she's gay. So I guess Candace Wiggins was right, when she said 98% of the league was gay, right? I mean, she just threw a number out there. Traveling and being on different teams and the conversations, the locker rooms, and all of that stuff. She was like, man, this whole league is gay. That's crazy, So, but anyway, let's get into it, because this is going to help you understand what Kennedy is going through. And let's hope she's not the new Candace Wiggins, where players are going to be trying to take advantage of her, hating on her because she's comfortable in her own skin. And she's not going to be bullied or punked or treated like some punk rookie young player that you get to put in her place every time and tell her to get in line. Kennedy is just not about to allow them to mistreat her like that. And listen, sometimes, man, you got some of these alpha bully lesbians in the WNBA that they just love getting away with punking people out. Okay? They love it. They love it. I'm telling you, they love it. And Kennedy is like, look, I'm gay too. I'm an alpha lesbian, right? And even if I wasn't gay, I wouldn't let you punk me out and try to put me in a box, try to put me in my place and tell me to fall in line and do what I'm told and to respect the vets and coaches no matter if they're right or wrong. Are you insane? And then you're going to try to swing on me and expect me not to retaliate and then lie about it and say you didn't start it, that you just responded. I told you. That's why I showed you that those images of her and that girl. She's a snake. You understand? She's sneaky as hell. So anyway, let's get to it, because I don't want Kennedy to be the new Candace Wiggins and the people to try to take advantage of her because she's so outspoken. She's so independent and she's comfortable in her own skin, and she's not going to allow anyone to punk her out. For the first time in an extensive interview, Wiggins described what she said was a very, very harmful culture in the WNBA, one in which she contends she was bullied throughout her 8-year career. She also described the discouragement she felt being a part of a survival league that she said still struggles for attention and legitimacy after 20 seasons in existence. Wiggins, who turned 30 on February 14th, abruptly announced her retirement last March. I wanted to play 2 more seasons of WNBA, but the experience didn't lend itself to my mental state. It was a depressing state in the WNBA. It's not watched. Our value was diminished. It can be quite hard. I didn't like the culture inside the WNBA. And without revealing too much, it was toxic for me. My spirit was broken. Wiggins, a four-time All-American at Stanford, asserts she was targeted for harassment from the time she was drafted by Minnesota because she is heterosexual and a nationally popular figure of whom many other players were jealous. Because remember, she was in the Final Four the year she got drafted, and she played against the Lady Vols. She was a four-time All-American, all of that stuff, right? She was considered to be playing for the Olympics. So me being heterosexual and straight and being vocal in my identity as a straight woman was huge, Wiggins said. I would say 98% of the women in the WNBA are gay. It was a conformist type of place. There was a whole different set of rules. They, the other players, could apply. There was a lot of jealousy and competition, and we're all fighting for crumbs, Wiggins says. Now, remember, this is what I told you, what happens on these teams. Certain players are trying to get a new contract. Other players are trying to stay on the team. Some players are just trying to stay in this league. Some players are trying to play really well so that they can get a position overseas, right? So they can get a contract overseas. Maybe there's incentives in certain players' contracts. And so you're going to get some ball hogging. You're going to get some selfishness. You're going to get some players that are just going to do a little too much. Okay. And yeah, there's going to be some jealousy as well, right? So it's like what Tiana, the player from Syracuse who had cancer, what she said some of the Syracuse players were just jealous of other women and they were hating on the coach because they wanted minutes that they weren't getting. And she said, to be honest, they just weren't that good, right? So yes, it's jealousy out here. She said there was a lot of jealousy and competition. We're all fighting for crumbs. Remember, Wiggins also said that in her original contract she signed, she was barely making $50,000 a season. She said in each season it will only go up in increments, right? So at the end of her contract, she was just making, at the end of her contract, she made $60,000. So it went from 50, I guess, to 51 or 52, all the way up to the end of her first contract where she was that final season, that final year for contract, she made 60 grand, right? So just think about that. Just think about that. So that's why she's saying we're all fighting for crumbs. She said when she played overseas in Europe, and she said the reason why she was making a little bit of money, she said because the taxes as well. She said you can't forget about the taxes. She said in Europe, it's just not that case. So she was able to make six figures, but she said it was like low six figures compared to Diana Taurasi. And overseas, they value bigs more. So if you're a really good big, you get paid a lot more. Guards are easy to come by unless you're like this anomaly like Diana Taurasi. Okay. So anyway, just 60 grand the final year of her contract. So, like she said, there was a lot of jealousy and competition, and we're all fighting for crumbs, Wiggins said. The way I looked, the way I played, those things contributed to the tension. Remember, Wiggins was one of the first pretty girly type, embracing her femininity, kind of a player in the WNBA. We had that with Lisa Leslie. Tina Thompson used to wear lipstick, but it was rare. It was only a few of those players. And then you get this really pretty Candace Wiggins. This is before she got that, I think this is before she got that scar on her face. So when she came in, she was just young and beautiful and heterosexual, embracing her femininity, and you getting players wanting to hit on her and get with her, and she's like, no, I'm straight. I'm not gay, I'm straight, right? Players trying to touch her in certain ways, grab her in certain ways, pet her butt for no reason, and she's speaking out against it. Like, I know what you're doing. Like, stop it. Like, stop trying to groom me. Okay? Players didn't like that because everyone is pretty much gay, so if they pat another player on the butt, even if it's not, in game where they're making a good play, they're just in the locker room patting you on the butt or grabbing you by the waist, pulling you, trying to pull you onto their lap and inviting you to parties that are gay parties, and then trying to hit on you or, want to exchange numbers and then call you or text you, with these racy little text messages and you're ignoring them and blowing them off, well, who does she think she is, right? We're normally used to getting away with doing all of this stuff. We're normally used to getting away with sexual harassment, right? How many WNBA players have Me Too stories from other WNBA players? So just think about that, right? So this is Candace Wiggins' Me Too story. She was sexually harassed. Okay. The way I look, the way I play, those things. People were deliberately trying to hurt me all of the time. I had never been called the B word so many times in my life. Told you, man, the WNBA has this bully culture. They've always had it. You know, here you are saying you're pro-woman and you're screaming Black Lives Matter this, but these same black women calling each other the B word in the WNBA left and right, bullying each other, sexually harassing each other, all of that stuff. This is just the way it is. It's so fake. But yet you want to kick Kelly Loeffler out like y'all a bunch of holy angels. Get the hell out of here. She says, I've never been thrown to the ground so much. The message was, we want you to know we don't like you. Okay. Wiggins says she was disheartened by a culture in the WNBA that encouraged women to look and act like men in the WNBA. That is so true. This is why the WNBA turned a lot of men off in the earlier years. Because if you go back and you watch the WNBA in the 90s and in the early 2000s, the real early 2000s, the majority of the league, they were wearing these big jerseys and uniforms. They were these headbands, these braids, and you know, everyone was trying to hoop and ball just like a dude. No one was really feminine, really. Like I said, you only had a speck of a few players. Literally, when you watch the WNBA early on, everyone had braids. If you weren't white, even I think even Becky Hammond at one time had braids, right? So, but she's not gay, I don't think. So, you know, that's the way it was. You turned on the WNBA and you was like, thank God for Lisa Leslie. Thank God for Candace Parker. Okay, thank God for Tina Thompson wearing that lipstick, okay, because it was pretty brutal. It was pretty brutal. You watch those games and it's like, damn, why are they all trying to wear their uniforms and their accessories and everything like a dude? Like, why is all of why does it look like this? Like, there's nothing wrong with playing like a woman. There's nothing wrong with looking feminine and embracing your femininity. Like, everything doesn't have to look like a man, right? And so that was one of the issues. And so, like she said, Wiggins said she was, and now when you look at women's basketball from the collegiate level, even from high school, but from the collegiate level to the WNBA, now you're seeing the lashes, the lipstick, the makeup, the fingernails, and everyone is trying to look feminine. But that wasn't the case, right? Early on, everyone was just looking straight up like a dude. Okay, so like she said, Wiggins said she was disheartened by a culture in the WNBA that encouraged women to look and act like men in the NBA. It comes to a point where you get compared so much to the man, you come to it comes to a point, It comes to a point where you get compared so much to the man, you come to mirror the man, she said. So many people think you have to look like a man, play like a man to get respect. I was the opposite. I was proud to be a woman, and it didn't fit well in that culture. And she goes on to talk about the financial side of the WNBA, how they used to even give tickets away and no one wouldn't even come to the games and stuff like that. The viewership was terrible back then. They're doing a juxtaposition. Her Achilles injury held her out. Things she did in Spain. She had better time in playing in Europe than she did in America. She says here, there were horrible things happening to me every day, and that connection to the outside world kept me going, she said. She's just saying, I don't want people to go through what I went through, right? So this is pretty much what she's saying. She said she was, at this time, she was going to write an autobiography. It's called the WNBA Diaries. Okay, so that's what I have to say about it, right? And looks like they're trying to do Chennedy Carter the way they did Candace Wiggins. I don't think Chennedy Carter is going to have it. That's the end of the video.